Hello, back with more fusions this time. Um, I had to take a bit of a break from my Zelda comic just because it was getting to the point where I don't want to work on this anymore. And I kind of refigured out, I suppose, that when I work on a larger project, I tend to get not really annoyed with it, but not really bored either. But it gets a little tedious at times, and I have trouble wanting to continue it. So, in order to make sure that I do finish the project, I stepped back and just started sketching in order to just kind of get away from drawing the same character over and over and coloring the same character over and over. Because especially with, the comic in particular, it is the same two characters, 20, 30 times, and it's green and brown and white and green and brown and white and green and brown and white and green and brown, and you kind of get tired of using the same three colors on the same two people, and you can't look at it anymore. So in order to make sure that I do continue it, because I am planning on finishing it and not, setting it to the side and I'll come back to it, and then, opening it to work on it and go, ew, and then closing it again. So this was my break, just to step away and, make sure that when I do open it again, I can be ready to deal with the tediousness of the same thing over and over and over for at least a little while. But basically it'll come down to the comic being recorded in increments. I do have most of the top half of the comic completely colored. I'm working on the backgrounds now, but drawing grass in every single panel gets really boring. So, off of the Zelda topic and onto the Pokemon topic, because that's what I'm drawing in this video. In the last fusion video at the end, I had made the comment that I would be redoing some of the fusions that I didn't like that I had done before, whereas in that video I had done fusions that I really liked and was just sort of updating them for, my new skills, I guess. But, so this one is, if you can't tell, Arbok and Scyther, Servine and Sneasel, and then Mismagius and Delphox. All are Pokemon that I really like and just kind of thought they all looked cool together. When I originally did the Arbok and Scyther, I just kind of stuck Scyther's head and torso on Arbok, and the colors didn't change, and it looked like they were sewn together rather than being a Pokemon to themselves. There is, after I get to the coloring point, I send a picture to my brother, and he was the one who pointed that out to me, so, I sent a picture to my brother, because I'm like, okay, look what I did, is this any better? He's like, yeah, that's a lot better, except he looks like he's wearing a coat. Crap. And now I can't unsee it. I did try to fix it, but it's like, I can't unsee it, it's still there. But I'm very happy with how all three of them turned out compared to how they were before. They're a little bit more cohesive as fusions than just being like, Arbok and Scyther, where they just kind of looked sewn together, or the Servine and Sneasel, where I basically had drawn Sneasel with green color, and it's not a fusion, that's more of a recolor, and it was like, okay, this is bad. And then Delphox was more just fixing some slight aesthetics, because in the original, Delphox Missumungus one that I had done, the cape was more of a shawl, and it looked clunky, you know, and Missumungus is this flowy little spirit, and Delphox is a fire psychic fox, and, you know, and the clunky isn't really kind of what you want when you're combining a ghost and a fox. So the coloring for the scales, I changed the scales so many times. And then just remembering what the layers were, and trying to bring green into it without having it be obnoxious or just clashing. And you'll see in the end project, I ended up having to get rid of a lot of the green just because it wasn't working well. I would have liked to have kept more green in it, just to bring a little bit more of the Scyther aspect in, but it looks really cool with the really dark purples and the very slight amount of green that I did throw in. With the Servine and Sneasel, I don't remember the fusion names I gave all of them. I remember the Delphox Missumungus was like Mess Fox or something like that. But I tried to bring in more colors I used more of Sneasel's body, but more of Servine's colors, still kind of like I had tried to do in the first one, but mixed in more of the grass to the body style, just to make it look a little less like it was just Sneasel with green. And you know, the little head thing, I mixed in the little leaf point thing from Servine with the feather, which I turned more into a petal to make it look kind of like there's a plant on his head, which I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then with Mess Fox, in the original one, I basically kept the shawl cape thing Missumungus' colors, and then the rest of it was pretty much Delphox's colors. And so I tried to get the colors a little bit more blended this time, keeping with the darker theme, and then having that bright yellow just to kind of give it a more pop to it, to kind of draw the eye. And then added the flames in as an afterthought. This was me more playing around with that overlay kind of color there. I did end up keeping it though, because I did like it. Since I did the last batch of fusions, or rather I should say the very first batch of fusions where I originally did these Pokemon, I would like to think that I've gotten a little bit better at lighting. Because like now I actually do like the rim lighting and stuff like that, and I didn't do that before. And it's like now that I do it, I'm like, why did I never do this? It makes it look so much better. But that's just more for bringing it together than the actual design of the Pokemon, I guess. I'm not sure what else to say. At the end of the video, I'll pull up the different, I'll pull up the originals and have them next to the new ones, just so you can see the differences, because I did forget to do that in my last fusion video. I mean, I put links to the pictures, but I didn't actually have it shown in the video. I'm not used to talking this long, so my throat is starting to hurt. I hope that wasn't too loud. I shouldn't be drinking soda while I'm doing this. So yeah, like I tried to bring up the colors, make them a little bit brighter on my Mess Fox fusion, but it looked a little bit more mysterious when it was the darker colors. So I kept them dark and kept our Arbok and Scyther. What would that be? That'd be like Arbok Arbither? I guess we'll call him Arbither. That sounds weird. But he's Arbither. I kept him dark too. Just it gave more of that like dark poison Naga dragon kind of feel. And then Cerezel, we'll call him that, the poison lizard, and then Then I already talked about Messfox being the fire psychic. So yeah, these are their befores and afters, and till next time.